I am Maria Corina Machado. I'm a Venezuelan, and I'm a member of the parliament. I have been attacked and persecuted by the regime in power for defending the rights of my fellow countrymen that want to live in democracy and freedom. On behalf of the people of Venezuela, I want to thank you for this opportunity to speaking to all of you members of the Congress of Liberal International. Venezuela is living today at historic crossroads. We have been living during the last 15 years under a regime that progressively took over control not only of public powers, of the justice system, of the National Assembly, of the Electoral Council, but that took control progressively of every single aspect of our lives, of the economy, of our education, of our homes and lives, and even they wanted to take control of our thoughts and aspirations. This system has brought a profound destruction, not only in our economy and our capacity to produce. Today, we depend on imports, even to eat, even to satisfy the internal demand of gas. Imports have to take place. Many may think that the destruction of our capacity to produce in the Venezuelan economy is the consequence of incompetence and corruption. Certainly, the regime is both, but it has to be understood that what is behind is the aspiration to install a system of domination of the society that requires total dependence of society in the state. And that's why private employment and individual autonomy has been systematically reduced. So no one should wonder why Venezuela, in the midst of our longest and biggest oil boom, has the highest inflation in the world, why scarcity has reached over 30%, and why the income with a minimum salary is less than $60 a month. It's part of a plan that has been systematically put in place. So that's why, when 2.5 months ago, Venezuelan young students went out to the streets and called to our conscience, to our spirits, to our hearts, the whole Venezuelan society reacted in support. And we came out understanding that when a society is being blocked all institutional paths and is progressively silenced by censorship in the media, the people have only two options. One is to accept to live every day with less and less freedom. The other is to fight for freedom and dignity. And that's exactly what our people are committed to at this point. So today, in Venezuela, it's taking place an unprecedented movement, social movement. The strength of the movement also has to do with its scope. It's a whole society coming together, fighting for values. Young and old, men and women, rich and poor, military citizens, civil citizens, in urban areas, in rural areas. It's a society that has to understand that at this time we have not only the right but also the duty to fight and conquer freedom and democracy. The reaction from the regime has been brutal repression. So brutal, so cruel, that we've not seen this kind of crimes even in the military dictatorships of the last century. Peaceful demonstrators have been attacked by paramilitary groups and by members of the National Guard and the National Police. Women, children, old people, persecuted and attacked, even inside their own houses. Today, there have been 42 Venezuelans killed, over 650 hurt, over 70 cases of tortures formally denounced, cruel tortures. Tortures that involved electricity discharges, students that have been wet with gas oiled, severely hurt, and even 2 cases of violations. In one of these cases, a woman, Marvinia Jimenez, was taking pictures of a demonstration in her native town, La Isabelica, Valencia. She was grabbed and thrown to the floor by members of the National Guard. There's a video that shows how a woman, National Guard, takes out her casque and hits her fearfully in her face while she's lying down in the street. Marvinia was taken for over 48 hours. Nobody could speak to her or known where she was. When she was released, she was charged with 5 crimes, while the woman, the National Guard that attacked her, is currently free. At the meantime, merciless political persecution has been put on every single citizen that dares to raise his voice. Journalists, union leaders, student leaders, defenders of human rights, and certainly politicians. It is the case of Leopoldo López certainly emblematic. Leopoldo López is one of the main political figures of the opposition, and he has been charged of severe crimes just for supporting the right to protest of Venezuelan students and citizens, and is currently in a military jail. The same is the case of 2 mayors recently elected. They refuse to repress protests in their counties, and because of that, the constitutional branch of the Supreme Court ruled against them, discharged them from their jobs and sent them to jail, and called for new elections in a clear violation of the popular will and popular sovereignty in Venezuela. Such is also the case of myself. I am a member of the National Assembly. I was elected in 2010 as a member of the parliament with the highest number of votes in that election, because I attended the Organization of American States in order to denounce the profound violations of human rights that are currently taking place in my country. I was accused of treason to my motherland, and by individual decision of the President of the National Assembly, I was forced out of the Parliament, accused of treason and currently threatened to be put in jail. This is a clear violation of Venezuelan Constitution, because he has no right to dismiss a member of the Parliament, and because I have had no right at all to defend myself and to prove that I have not committed a crime, but on the contrary, I have been following my conscience and my duty. My question to every one of you is, how would you call a regime that persecutes, that attacks peaceful demonstrators, that tortures students in military jails, and that censors fiercely the press? That has only one name, and that's a dictatorship. And things have to be called by their name in order to fight for the truth and in order to conquer freedom. That is why I want to assure you that we, the Venezuelan people, will not stop our struggle, will not stop our peaceful protest until we achieve, through democratic means and through the tools that our Constitution offers us, a transition to democracy. To reach this objective, we need the support and solidarity of Democrats around the world. That's why I assure you that Venezuelans in our generation are doing our part, and we will fight until we achieve our goal. We need your voices being raised for the values that we share.